Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Good morning. My microphone sounds too hot. Let's turn that down a little bit. How's that? How's that? And maybe this is... there we go. How are you guys doing? A good number of you guys this morning. Well, I think we have a more interesting market today. Man, what's wrong? Good morning, Uzi Lucas. It sounds like it's clipping to me. Is it okay? Does it sound okay to you guys? Take up on the open. And I see IQ, good morning. Ooh. Is the robot retweeting everything? And there's Nicholas too. Well, I think we've got an interesting market today. The E-mini had a pretty good fall yesterday. Let's make our chart nice and big. Here's the E-mini. Pretty decent fall. Was below support. That's definitely a short-term trend change. Probably likely to continue to get downside today. Gotta refill my tea. Treasuries up a little bit. The thing that I find interesting in Treasuries, though, so we had this pretty good move down yesterday on some of the economic data was good. What was it yesterday, by the way? I forget. It was like retail sales or something, right? Yeah. Retail sales was good and pushed us down. We came back up, and when we left, people were still looking for short. I was actually kind of thinking maybe they could have another push lower later in the day, and of course they did. But then that move was rejected hard, and we moved back up. So, and now we are actually above where the news was. So here we have a pretty clear rejection down here as well. So now, if we say that we're in a range, though, we've got a pretty big range to test higher on. So that's interesting, right? So you get a good sell. Now I'm wondering what's going on over here because I'm not getting my level 2 changes in the E-mini. Well, there we go. That's fixed. Oh, you know what? We should just reset it because it doesn't have the pull side. So we're doing 100, 100, and then everything. Okay. Nope, that's not the one that we want. Okay, so this one will do 100. Okay. Downside targets in ZB 17 and 3, upside still 09. Only 09, huh? Well, I think that 08, they got a big old fatty order on it at 59.16 orders sitting there. That 08 looks juicy to me. Yeah. Anyways, let's see if we fixed our thing. We did. Good job. Okay, cool. All right. Lucas, were the last couple of days fun? Well, so we didn't have you yesterday, did we? Well, I thought yesterday was actually kind of, I don't know, you're still kind of getting the weird summer action, right? Like we had retail sales, and it was like, hey, it's going. This is all good action. And then almost as quickly, it just turned to mud. You know what I mean? Was no good. Beyond 09, I got 31, not to jinx ourselves here, but that seems too high. Every time we say it seems too high, they can go up and get it though, can't they? Okay, so the first thing that I am noticing is that we have an unusual amount of activity going on here. So here at 127.040, where's my notes? I took Monday and Tuesday off, needed time off the markets. Oh, I got you. I thought we had you there on Monday, but I was kind of like, seems like we're missing somebody today. Yeah, Monday wasn't no good, but Tuesday was okay. But I have the sneaking suspicion that the markets are about to heat up again. I don't know. Okay, July 17. Right? Yes. Okay, so we got large offers at 127.040, followed by large bids stuck in a range at the open. So in just to get everybody on the same page, for the Treasuries, I am only watching it, and I'm watching this indicator that I've built for the next 2 weeks. We'll see what it does. Showing us some interesting things so far. I find it interesting that we're having that kind of action before the open, and that we're so range bound here at the start. And we do have building permits and housing starts here in 3 minutes, well, 2.5 minutes, but that's still not, I don't know, that kind of news wouldn't normally make us this range bound. ZB having trouble with this week's value high. There's a possibility it could float within value, which would see it fall to that 17. That's one scenario. All the way back to 153.17. I don't know. I think that we're going to move higher, but it kind of depends, right? If the E-mini panics, then I think that we could really see some higher prices in the Treasuries, right? But if it doesn't, we might move up a little bit, but be just really slow and stuck. I'm kind of tempted to take a trade in the E-mini today, but obviously we gotta wait for this news first and see if they react off that. I'm just laying out scenarios, just not predicting the future. I have no clue what's gonna happen until it starts happening, but it helps to have some plans laid out, right? Yeah. Well, I guess what I'm trying to say, good morning, wrong. I guess what I'm trying to say is that scenario one is a slight move up, right? Scenario two is a slight move, is a strong trending move up because the E-mini is falling apart. Scenario three, then we go into the downside scenarios. Maybe we test some downside here, or like this 05, for instance. And then you get to scenario four where it's like, okay, that 17 down there, I think that one is a lot less likely. But probably we don't have enough data to really say which one is the most likely. Well, I take that back. We're more likely. Oh, here, hold on. We got the news coming in here. Okay, so we're looking for spot 4 for both the... Oh, no. Let me refresh the page here. Building permits, we're looking for one spot 3. And we get... Housing starts 12 spot 5 or 1 spot 25. So pretty close to the estimates. Yeah, 1.25 on housing starts and building permits. Come on. Morning. You already said morning wrong. Can you not see? Make sure in YouTube that you have it set to live chat instead of top chat. But we'll say hello to you again wrong because we love doing it. Okay, 1.22. You know, like yesterday, Ron came in a little bit later than normal, and it was kind of like we couldn't start the session. It wasn't here yet. Liquidity in the market doesn't look very good today. Okay, a little bit returned there, but there is, okay. ZB is buying it a little bit. We're starting to get some offers. Okay. Looks like they pushed through them. So let's put that down. Okay. And that happened because the E-mini turned down. It's a bad risk reward location to take it though in the E-mini. Maybe they just fall right through. So now they're at the previous close. Let's do that for all these. Okay. So now ZB is above previous high. Yep, and point of control moved up above initial balance, and now he's looking for longs. Believe it or not, there was not actually that much change there. So I think that means that they can continue going. Well, there's that 08 we talked about, right? think that they are not happy about the housing data, even though it was in line with estimates. But now they're realizing, like, yeah, but the estimates were bad. I'm starting to see some interesting stuff here because now hold on. Like the larger picture, I think is starting to be interesting and contradictory, because we had that move up to new highs, right? And a lot of it was based off of monetary easing. But then we had all this data that was good. But then when we are actually looking at pieces of data that are, really key indicators of the health of the economy, and two things that really stand out to me is that housing continues to be really bad, and now we're starting to get transportation is bad. Long 06 half. I think you're okay, actually. I'm trying not to. I'm trying not to take a position here, right? So it's not so that I don't bias myself. But what I've seen recently is that when we see the orders trigger in here, that's an inflection point. And so far, we haven't seen it at 06 half. And in fact, when I look at the overall interest in the amount of orders that's changed, it hasn't changed that much, which means that there's still plenty of people that could get on board. That wall at 11 in ZB is not good for me. Notice in ZB that stack at 09 and moved up. There was a stack at 05. That one is still there, and now they're putting a stack at 09. It looks like the E-mini, they took the short and now it's equalizing. '05 is today's value high. '09 was untested value high from the 11th. Okay, so they did turn there just a little bit. I mean, the 15,000 is not that much, though. I don't know. So this one was from 04 to 06. So price pushed up 4 ticks. See, I don't think that one was enough to... Because the ones that are like peaks, well, let's look back at our notes. Let's look back at our notes. Make it really big. Yeah. Those were like, so that spike was like one of these right here, right? Not like a real spike. Real spike is almost double that. And we pushed back into that zipper. It's kind of interesting. There's a big sell in the 5-year. There's actually a big sell in CB too. Interesting. I'd rather be long at 06. Now it's been tested and bidders are just sitting there. Now there's pretty big size on both sides of it in ZB, huh? Oh, there they took the 09. Yeah. Okay, so there was a block sell at 05.5. So I'm going to say we went down 2 for 05.5. That was curious, huh? Oh, you know, another thing we should remember, it's Wednesday, right? It's curious to me, though, that, okay, so if we consider that 15,000 signal for a reversal, we basically came down 2 ticks before a block sell came in, which is a little weird. I'd say at the very least, this kind of indicates that we don't have it's a two-way market. Man, does the microphone really sound okay to you guys? Because I keep hearing myself clip. I don't know what the deal is. Like, it should be like, I don't know. Maybe I just have it too loud over here, but... Light flattening long end helps, but not expecting much, says Alligator. Well, that volume all came out completely. Let's take a picture of that. Uzi's saying, wait until she gets back to the point of control. So you're saying if we got back to 03, then maybe you would think about buying? Just because that wasn't one of the levels that you look for? Because I was looking over here. The reason I ask is because I was looking over here in the E-mini and saying, well, maybe if we came back over here, I could think about shorting it. But then, back to this volume node around the point of control. But then I'm thinking, well, but if we're up there, then I certainly don't have momentum on my side at that point. I certainly wasn't about to buy the high at 09. The way that selling came into ZB was interesting, to say the least. There was a lot of pulling on that way up. I think that's something else that we should have noted. Okay. After some news stacking mostly on offers at 04. Had I gone long up there, I would have built on it right after 09 got pounded F that. Yeah. When was this? This was just before the news that they pulled that. But there was some bids pulling. I don't know. That was kind of weird. That was kind of a weird move, guys. I suppose it was just a delayed news move, but come on. It was... I think that us retail guys were getting too anxious. Like we've had a good morning move pretty much every day for the past couple of weeks, and they just kind of figured that it had to do something, and everybody jumped on board. But it really looks to me like, that was all volume up, and all that volume came out. So that really feels to me like all the speculators went long, and then all of the speculators got out. But here on the pullback, I'm still not seeing institutional action. We are below where the block sell was. It makes sense. Probing above weekly volume high, responsive sellers were up there chilling and waiting. I gotcha. I wonder if that means that the guys waiting to buy the E-mini are still out there. Donald Trump tweeting about a rally. See, like that step up to 05, for instance. Nor offers almost 2K higher than bids they're flexing. Yeah. That doesn't look right. Hold on a second. There we go. I'm gonna need to go look at that, because when I'm looking at my volume level, I can see it bouncing around there. It's not going completely quiet. There we go. That's better. Maybe it was because I was rocking the table or something. So there was a pivot. So there was maybe a pivot there, but it didn't do anything unusual. I would say it feels like, well, when did we last see bidding activity was way up here. Here. It's a little bit less. Offers a little bit less. So that's interesting. So now that we've pulled back, there's less interest. If it normalizes above the point of control, I'll look to buy. I see. Now that makes total sense. You get a point of control, you move up, you come back down. If it sits here at 05 and it builds a lot of volume, then we could potentially see another move up. Because it's moving it up. That makes a lot more sense to me. I'm still a little skeptical that it stays here at 05 for very long, though. It's just not. It's just not normal action. Do we have more data coming? Well, we have capacity utilization rate. That could do it. Maybe that's why. Maybe they are just calming down and they're just going to range right here until the next piece of news. Right now, the only thing keeping me out is there's a bit more offer than it bid. When you look at that, how many levels are you looking at? Like the first 10 levels? Obviously, I can't see that number anymore because I'd have to go all the way up here. And then I can see it. There's some big orders like up above us in ZB. Look at that. Are there big numbers below us? There's a few. I wonder if I can zoom out far enough to see them. Yeah, you can. It's only 10. Okay, so that's the same as what I got on there. It's actually changing up a little bit like that right there. Now there's more bids in ZB. Oops, what was that? I've been thinking, by the way, I know this is going to sound like kind of like splitting hairs, but I've been wondering, maybe I should change my setup so that the DOM is on top and the picture is on bottom, because then I would be more like looking up like this instead of looking down like this, you know? And maybe just that little subtle change in body language would be a positive thing. Sound like a crazy theory? There's a lot of stuff in the psychology channel. I think you're going to have to read that later. Oh, and what are they saying in Bitcoin? Venom says he's been short for a while. Well, they did tick up. I don't know. Actually saw a little bit of bidding there. So maybe we do move up. Oh, you know what else? We should pull up our sheets. So this one was July 17, and the day right now is up. And we're going to say range bound. Range. And the trend was range, reversal, and you got, what was it? 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe possibly 5. So let's say 5. You went against you 1. And then here, July 17, and the day is still up, and I'm going to say it's still a range day potentially, but the trend was up, and it reversed for how many? 1, 2, 3, 4. It reversed for 4, with maybe 1 tick against you. I'm going to say big spike, exit, no clear exit. Did you debate Trump tweets? Were they racist as Dems claim? Oh, man. Lucas, of course we did. You know me too well. You know me too well. Down. And this one, we're not sure what happened yet. Okay. Anyways, well, my thing that I, just to be really brief about it, the thing that I was saying yesterday was that, you know, who hasn't told a liberal to move? You know, who hasn't told a liberal, if you don't like the United States, then just leave? Everybody says that. And for this to be this some sort of beyond the pale thing is just like super bizarre to me. But, you know, we should talk about yesterday, because I think something significant happened yesterday. So yesterday, the Democrats put in a resolution in Congress to, you know, say that the president is racist and condemn his racist tweets. And there is a rule in the rule book that says that you can't call the president racist. And so Nancy Pelosi went in and made her remarks to put the bill to the floor, and they called her out on the rules. And then the chair ruled that she had broken the rules. And when you break the rules like that, you are banned from speaking on the floor for the rest of the day. So Nancy Pelosi got banned from speaking on the floor for the rest of the day, which was really funny to watch. I was watching this live, and okay, there was a little bit of a tick down with some large offers. Okay, so here we're going to add another one, July. We're going to say it's still up, range. Okay, it is going to move further. Okay, so this one, you maybe got 1 and 1. This was a small amount of bids. Didn't go anywhere. Reversed on next signal. And this one so far has been good for 2. I always just say at least 1. So this reverse was a reversal. And this was reversed. Okay. And then I'll also type it in here. It didn't go anywhere. Offers show up and push us lower. Push us to lower low. Okay. Anyways, so Nancy Pelosi is banned from the House floor, right? And so the Democrats, they basically vote to change the rules. So they vote that Nancy Pelosi's words can be kept on the record because the Republicans moved that it be stricken from the record. So the Democrats kept her comments on the record, and then the Democrats voted that Nancy Pelosi get unbanned from the floor, which of course they can do because they have a majority, right? That one was only good for 2. Still very range bound. Well, so I've been to a couple of like conventions and, Republican Party Central Committee meetings and things like this. So I'm not a huge expert on parliamentary procedure or anything like this, but I've certainly seen a situation like this before where, somebody does something and it's against the rules or whatever, and then the body votes to override those rules. And my observation has been that it always turns into a shit show after something like that happens. The people that are in the majority, clearly they can do whatever they want, but the other side, like, people stop cooperating at that point. Like it is no longer, you no longer have a legislative process, essentially. So I think that what just happened is important because, or could be politically pivotal going forward, because what it means in my mind is that was basically the pinnacle of that Congress. Like the most significant thing that they're ever going to end up doing is passing a resolution calling the president racist, even though I don't think that his comments were racist. And they're not going to pass anything else. Literally nothing can get done over there now. Because when you start breaking the rules, when you override the rules, what incentive do the Republicans have to cooperate at all on anything now? They don't, because they literally cannot trust the Democrats anymore. So, okay, those offers really pushed it. Okay. So that one was actually worth 1, 2, 3, 4. And the exit signal was, what I'm going to say was like that move was a strong move and gap with lots of large order changes. So what I'm seeing in the markets right now is I see a somewhat range-bound market with a bias possibly shifting to the downside, and big orders seeming to be fighting each other, and the ZN stacking hard on the bid. Although I have to say, I mean, look at this right here. So when we were in this area, we saw activity on both bid and offer. So that I thought was significant. I suppose that was a pullback. Oh, maybe that's how I should have read that. So we came here. Here was a high. We came down. We came back up. And guess what? More interest when we pulled back too. So you take that one short. But then it really feels to me like they pushed it. Okay. And we should put this one in at 706. Now, for the larger thing, though, I think when you look at it from Congress doing their thing and all that, it kind of looks like Democrats won, right? But I think that getting in there and basically having everything shut down ultimately favors the Republicans, I think. Oh, that's why it was. My microphone was a little bit too high. That should sound a lot better. Okay, now that we're getting the lots of bids, let's see if it reverses again. Like since I've been doing this, it reverses like 50% of the time, and then maybe like 30% of the time it reverses or ranges, and once. So 10% of the time, it's done a continuation. But even after that continuation, it was like, that was the last move. It's like the Obama years. Republicans did to him what Democrats are doing to Trump. It's just easier to tack in the racism garbage because Trump is white. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not quite sure what particular thing you are referring to that the Republicans did to Obama. It was, the thing that I remember most prominently about the Obama years was that it was just obstruction everything. And that's the thing that I find so sad. Yeah, obstruction. Okay, yeah. Like, when you think about Bill Clinton, okay, Bill Clinton was president. Republicans had a majority in Congress. In fact, they had enough that they could overrule his veto on things, right? And what happened was Congress started passing things that the president could agree with them on, and it went really well for him. It was really good for Bill Clinton, at least. But I think that what has happened is that the party has read that as, okay, Bill Clinton working with Republicans did not result in a Democrat winning the next election, so we shouldn't do that. That's, I think, the kind of the takeaway that they took from the Bill Clinton years. So then when it came to, Republicans had pretty much complete control during the Bush years. But then towards the end of the Bush years, then it turned into Democrats had control, obstruct everything. And then, flipped around. Obama was in Congress, and then Republicans took over. And so then they obstruct everything. But I think that they took the wrong takeaway, because if they actually worked with the president on issues of which there is widespread agreement on, For instance, they took the bare minimum actions required to solve the border crisis, would be one example of things that they could do. If they, they could still try to do an infrastructure bill, I suppose. They could definitely do prescription drugs, right? I think that it would be better for the Democrats, because right now, I don't think that voters have any reason to trust the Democrats with power, because their Democrats are pushing for policies that literally will not get passed. And so if you vote for Democrats next election, you're basically like let's say that we get a President Harris or whatever. Well, let's no. Let's go bigger than that. Let's say that we got a President Bernie. Okay, let's say that Bernie Sanders was president, right? At that point, you're going to get 4 to 8 years of nothing again, because none of his legislative goals are passable. None of them. There's a reason Congress has a lovely decades-long sub 10% approval rating. Rightfully so. It's a ridiculous rule. Yeah, anyways. This is kind of weird. When you're saying rightfully so, it's a ridiculous rule, is Shamrock's referring to it's a ridiculous rule that you can't call the president racist? Because here's the other thing about that rule. They put that in at the beginning of the term. Like, Democrats agreed to it, Republicans said, well, we know that you want to do that, and we think that should be out of bounds. And they said, okay, you're right. So they all agreed, and they put that in the rule book. And to come back and renege on it now is like a really big breach of trust. I don't think that the larger, like the Twitter sphere, they're not picking up on that. But it's a big deal. It's a really big deal. Things are going to get much more nasty in Congress, and Republicans are not just going to take it lying down. And I think that the problem that Democrats face is that the public is going to start taking the Republican sides on a lot of issues, because the Republicans are going to come out and they're going to say, we should fix drug prices. Because the things that the Democrats are pushing for don't have the public support. And that was the other half of it, right? Was that in doing it in that way, they also had to embrace the far left fringe of their party. So now they're picking up on all of the, all of the policies of Ocasio-Cortez and stuff. Okay. So now, right here, this is range. It's still range, but the trend was down and reversed for at least 2. March bits. Twitter is mostly liberal, right? Well, YouTube seems to be mostly conservative. I don't know. I mean, I do think Twitter tends to lean liberal, but it depends on how you use Twitter. Because most people that are just reading their feed do not get the, you know what I mean? They don't see anything outside of their networks, so. I like how they're saying Trump is tied for the most racist president in American history. How can he be tied with presidents that owned slaves? I think that the whole thing is well. So here's another thing that I find interesting about this. There's a word that I thought would be popping up right now and is not. The word is microaggressions, right? What Donald Trump did is a microaggression, right? What he's doing is not saying like white people are inherently better than other people, or, only white people should live in the United States. No, what he did was he used the fact that Ilhan Omar was from outside of the United States, and he integrated that into his attack on her. He wasn't saying it because she was black, but it hurt more because she was black. He's saying it because we say that to all liberals. If you don't like it, move. Right? So it's a microaggression. Now, I think most people think that the whole idea of microaggressions is stupid, but Uzi says I hate that term. But that's what it was. So it seems to me that Democrats have effectively rewritten the term racism to mean committing any kind of microaggression. Oh, there's Ace. I was wondering where you were. I tell you what, Ace. I took a couple of trades while you was off, and I've had a hard time catching the momentum the right direction. It's not like I lost a ton or anything like that, but I haven't had a lot of success with it. And I kind of want to short the E-mini here today, but it just didn't quite give me the right thing. And I'm noticing that time period that we would normally take a trade, usually nothing happens. So it's just like, is that just like a summer thing? It just doesn't work in the summer? I don't know. I mean, you kind of wait. And there you go. He did tell us he was going on vacation, didn't he? It was a little bit longer of a vacation than I expected, though. I don't know. I really want to short the E-mini, but I just can't. I don't feel confident enough in knowing when to do it. You know what I mean? That's kind of the struggle that I'm having over there. And then over in the Treasuries, we're just analyzing an indicator. So, okay, so that was a lot of activity on the ask there. Oh, actually on everything. Wow. Okay. What the heck? It reversed for 2. Okay. So now we're getting tons of activity out of nowhere. This is still, I'm going to say it's still range day. Range to down potentially. And if you're going to go, you might as well go for a while. Okay, so hold up. So what do we got? The problem is that everything becomes a subjective reading about what constitutes an aggression, to the point anything you don't like is an aggression. Well, yeah, but that's exactly my point, right? Is that the whole thing about microaggression is that the offender's intent doesn't matter. And so we have turned being called racist. It used to be that racism was like a thought crime, but now racism is essentially, opposing liberals or opposing a minority, right? It kind of bothers me. I watched a presentation by Marianne Williamson at Harvard. She's less of a kook than I thought. She made some very good points about U.S. history and how our Constitution allows the United States to self-correct. Yeah, well, the thing about Marianne Williamson, she seems crazy on the debate stage, but the whole thing is she's not a politician, she's a writer. And she's quirky like a writer, right? Which is just in that particular context she seems crazy. Can we read Alligator's comments now? You should be able to see them. Did you see him say something? Yep. Okay, and then what was the thing? What's the robot doing? I haven't turned on any of my robots. I kind of was doing some back testing and didn't came to it inconclusive, so I didn't do anything with them. Can you see my comment on Discord? Where I said really strange amount of activity here? That was after an uptick. No, it's just Restream is now appearing on YouTube comments, which is cool. Yeah, I gotcha. No, that's the intention. So the thing is that's the bot, right? And we had it on at one point, but then everybody in Discord was kind of like it bothered them. But now I feel like that chat is a little bit different. So I figured that it was okay to do, and you will see stuff in the stream channel. The thing that's weird is that they don't show up in interest rates, but maybe that was because I banned him from interest rates or something like that. Maybe that's why he's not posting them. Because you can still see the Discord comments in YouTube, right? Well, actually, I can just look myself, right? Yep, ZB at open, 10 tick range, and at midpoint. But then my comment hasn't shown up yet, so maybe it's a little slow. Anyways, I like it. Maybe we'll keep it this way. When I first turned it on, a couple of people were like, no, I don't like that. But then, and a couple of people turned him off because they were talking about something else. But the problem is going to be they're going to start talking about something in the interest rates channel, and then you guys are going to want to talk, and you're going to reply to them in YouTube, and they're not going to see it because it's only going one way for whatever reason. Okay, so that continued. Result was continuation. So I'm going to say it showed up at 04. We have now gone 05, so we've gone 2. And it never actually ticked against us. So the point of control in ZB got rejected as Uzi predicted. I need to go back and rewatch that because I think I missed something in the DOM there. I think I missed something. It's weird because you got like, here was the bids, right? It reversed after the uptick, then you got a continuation. So I think that was like the reversal continuation signal. So if you took that was 1, 2. Well, we're just gonna say 2 until the next signal, and then it was a continuation. Shooby dooby. It's still kind of, so it's still in a questionable area, right? Nowhere out of the woods yet. Yeah, exactly. He's thinking, you think as I do. It's not just Powell pandering to markets, rate cuts are necessary. Some of these things on Twitter. Look, this person on Twitter that followed me says they are divorced and looking for a partner. Okay. Looks like a bot. Offers be stubborn. I have to say, this is a really interesting spot too. Okay, now it's doing it again. Okay, so here we're range up. And here we had more outsized orders with participation, and the result was a reversal. I wonder if that was spoofing. They're doing it again. That's why I don't just operate off the point of control. Order flow still reigns. Sellers want to see how much guts, so buyers have above the point of control. Not much from the looks of it, so more testing down. I don't know if I agree with that, though. The thing is, okay, so we had the move down, and then we're seeing if buyers can buy it. And there was a lot of interest on it, and it gave an exhaustion. And now it's pushing down by 2, but I'm seeing still a lot of orders coming through, and particularly I'm seeing a lot of large bids. So it looks to me like there is, for some reason, some people looking to buy it here. Could also point out that there is some correlation stuff going on here, like the E-mini popped up there as the ZB got kicked down. So I think that's what that was. The currencies aren't really moving, and gold is moving up, is doing really well this morning, actually. By the time you determine buyers don't have much interest above the point of control, you already missed buying the point of control. Yeah. To go up, we need volume on both sides of the market. On the way up, we're heavy on the buy side. The point of control was tested. It popped and ran right into the sell side market orders. Yeah, that's probably true. So I can't see, it does look like there's more bidding than there is offering, but yeah, there is, but only slightly. It's still range bound. But I think what I'm going to look for here is what they do at 03. And maybe all of this activity is because of ES. Near ES open. I think that I like to do it this way. Maybe I won't actually, maybe I'll only put the actual pictures in here or something instead of trying to write the comments about every single one, because That's too much. Look at the numbers in the current trades column. It's true silly. Single digit market buys, triple digit market sells. And we're talking about in ZB. The trend down was pretty hard in ZB. Although I think that might be spreading. Now they're really going. Okay, and the first impulse in yes is up. But it is once again pretty cautious, and haven't seen a day where they just come out and just hit it right away in a while. So I wonder if all of this activity is just because of the E-mini or something, but that is weird. That is weird, right? Yeah. Yeah. See, on the way down, they hit 700 to get through 154.07, but then hardly any buying on the way back up. When it ticked up, it was like they could only get 7, and then they ticked down. That can be a little bit deceptive because they might have traded 300 there, ticked down, ticked back up, and then only had 7. But when you read it like this, I think the way that you should look at it is buyers were getting trapped every step, essentially. The result here is, I'm going to say range. So you could maybe get 1 and 1. Now, if after the point of control was tested, we got triple digits on both sides of the market, it probably would have checked up further, because buyers and sellers would be getting what they wanted. This is unusual. Well, it's not what we saw in the last 2 days, is it? I want to say that we do tend to see spiking around 7:30. Yeah, a little bit. But I don't know. Favorable prices. Fills, essentially. I'm not quite sure what you mean by that, Uzi, but it sounds like what you're saying, though, is that buyers got trapped. And since buyers aren't getting much of anything that they like, the chances of more upside are probably significantly diminished. If we go up without a lot of market buying, you're going to have sellers on offer who aren't getting their fills, so there's a looming chance they get impatient and just smash the bid. I don't know. It seems, though, for some reason they are unusually interested. Like, there's an unusual amount of orders coming out there. Maybe that's spoofing. And I continue to see more activity on the bid side. But that could be spoofing to try and push it up and get fills, right? People have the tendency to look at buds as demand and offers as supply. Not the case. Limits our supply. Market orders our demand for liquidity. Yes. No, that's totally true. And the problem with looking at it that way, though, is that supply and demand are always equal, right? Well, at least at a particular price. The number of trades. Like, the thing is if like 10,000 traded there, it's like, well, there was 10,000 to trade, but there was 10,000 demand there too. So how do you know that that's going to stop it? I wonder, they're going to push this up. Everyone has buds, not everyone has bids.
Block buy.
Okay. It's not time yet. But that was a interesting take. I'm going to say eventually broke up. I was thinking maybe I should wait 5 minutes more. But I'm kind of thinking I like it right there. How fast is supplied liquidity being devoured? Yeah, that's a really important. Oh yes, I think that's where the pace of trading comes into play. Yeah, it's a good point because, like, remember yesterday when we had that move up, and man, they just bought the heck out of that stuff, right? There's some huge icebergs, and they just pushed right through it quick. Of course, that move fizzled out really quickly too, but well, that's not what we wanted to see. I am noticing in the E-mini that when they test that lower end, you tend to see more interest from the larger orders. I don't know. It just feels like every time I put one of those in there, I'm doing exactly the wrong thing, huh? Maybe I'll wait 5 minutes and try it again. It's a pretty strong iceberg there in the E-mini now. Or, sorry, in Treasuries at 05. Nope. See, some of the things that Uzi is talking about right now are kind of things that I don't feel like I have a good feel for, because I'm kind of more like, okay, I can see where there's an iceberg or where there's some liquidity, and then we just kind of have to see if they can get through it and how they react to that. And I can't really look at when there's been more on this side or that side and really read too much, because I just feel like that changes so quickly. But in that particular context, I think that he is pointing out something significant, that the sellers had complete control on that downturn. It's just now that they pushed that, and they came back up, and now all of a sudden there's a lot more interest in the market. So I kind of think that means that they do want to buy it. Treasury's always slow, so I can take a nap in between. Hmm. Kind of got like a good little run there, and then I don't know. Do we have any more news today? No, we don't. Oh, we have Beige Book at noon. That's actually important. Hmm. Okay, so sellers are starting to win in ES. Got a couch in the office. Hmm. They still don't seem to want to let it break there, but it's tested that so many times. I think that it's going to go. Especially since the Treasuries continue to move up. It's in its initial balance is going to be sloppy. Yeah, you're right. Because opening range low is not until 3004, right? I'm just looking at the volume. The volume seems to be coming down. Like they in this there's been this support. It just looks like they've tested that so many times and you're getting the volume down into it that they're pretty likely to probe it. And then we can kind of see what happens. If they're able to push below yesterday's low. Or no, I guess it would be the overnight low. So this 04 right here. If they get through that, then things might start to get a little more chaotic. I'm going to say this was not a range, it was a continuation. To range. And it was worth a lot more than that. In just one, it was worth like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If it doesn't heat up on the sell side below the initial balance low, take profits on it and wait for another chance. Yeah. I think that's the plan. Is I want to see them break this and accelerate. Okay. So far, there's a little bit of resistance there to it. But I'd say there's a decent amount trading on both sides down here. But I think I will take this. Oh, come on. Okay. Did I get the... Okay. Fine. This is a little bit too much of a bounce there. And I'm also seeing this in the E-mini, or sorry, in the 10-year. Like here, I'm still seeing it bid. Easy peasy. You think I played that right? I wish I had gotten a few more ticks out of it, but I think I kind of freaked out there a little bit. But I don't know if it's going to go lower or not. It could go lower, and I think that we say generally we did the right thing, and if it goes lower, oh well, we can get back in. Because if it really does go lower, then you'll have plenty of opportunity to sell it. Yeah, Uzi agrees with me. I appreciate it. So I feel like I have some good ideas in ES, but there's just still I feel like that the profile matters so much more in ES, and I still don't feel very confident about it. So kind of getting feedback like that I think is really useful. And there they did tick through. So I'm going to say right there at 06 half, there was bid iceberg and large bids. I'm going to say, is still range. Range trend was up. Reversal to see this might be the trap traders thing that we're talking about. So there was a big bid there. Now they're going to try ticking up into it. If say this flips here and they're not able to buy 06 and hold it, then there's like a 90% chance that they're trapped. That's what the BLB guy was saying. This is exactly that situation that he was talking about. Adrian Miko says MM was good, but entry was bad. Okay. Well, yeah. So I took it twice, right? I took one and it was bad, and then it came back and I took it again. I should have waited for, a better entry, and then I could have really have done well on that trade, huh? Okay, so there they are. They're trying to hit into it. There's quite a bit that absorbed at 05 half too. So I'm going to say, well, unless there's a tick down, maybe they're not trapped. But this is a situation that he's talking about, for sure. Adrian, I just noticed because your entry was in the middle of the range. Yeah, it was. No, it totally was. Like, that was the thing, was I thought that I had downside momentum with me, and I didn't. Like, can I let me bring up the chart and try and explain it, and maybe you can help me see why that was wrong. So we were right here, and I saw that we were getting downside momentum and that they were going to try and take it. And so I bought it pretty much at 07. So I bought it pretty much like right there. And then it turned. So then my stop was in the exact wrong spot. And I was in the middle of the range. And then it came there. I took it again. And then they did do what I thought. So now we're back. They're testing the point of control again. I think that you can take it potentially again. Actually right here, on the theory that they're going to make another sell push. Except for that, well, there was less interest on that, and now there's more interest here. So I think it is a sell. So I'll try it. Well, I don't like that. I also don't like that. But that is, it looks like they are trapped, huh? But if you take it here again on the point of control, then it's again in the middle of the range. Okay, so explain to me then, if we wanted to take another short, at what point would it be appropriate to take another short? Not until it's broken down here and formed a different range? Or perhaps when they're starting to attack the weak part of the profile, and then maybe you can take it on, what do we say, momentum? Momentum? My reading on the interest here seems like they're not as interested in the E-mini, but the Treasuries seems to contradict that. I mean, because price is in the value area. So maybe you could take it right there. I'd have to say, though, just the fact that we're back here into the point of control kind of makes me think that trade, we caught a little bit on it, but it didn't. It actually failed, I think. Yeah, no, I'm showing it there on. I'll switch it back over now. I guess just the fact that it's right there, 07, is like, maybe that was a failed push. Maybe that was a false breakout. Because it was like, there was 04. They kind of touched it, and then all of a sudden it was back up. Then I was like, no, panic. Did you go back to the point of control, or did the point of control get dragged down to you, or two different things? Do you read getting dragged back into the point of control a bullish thing, or just an uncertain thing? I think Adrian is saying that now that we're back up here, that there's no way we can know. Maybe more selling comes in. I actually kind of suspect, just based off of the cumulative delta in the situation and everything, that they might try and push down again, but I don't know. More uncertainty than anything else. I get you. Yeah, I think you guys are right. I'm fighting with myself here a little bit, just because I'm looking at it from like a perspective of like, here's a swing, 50% pullback. They should go down for another one, right? Or if they are going to go downside, that's where it's going to be. So if I feel like that we should sell, and I think that I have pretty good reason to think that today is a sell day in the E-mini, shouldn't you be taking it at 07? But I think you guys are right. You can't take it there at that point of control. It's too likely for them to try and stop me out. But I mean, them being right there at 05, for instance. So that goes back to the question, though, is just, if we do want to take a short, at which point do we take it? Do we have to wait for it to break? Sell on the momentum down, yeah. See, that move down, I thought, looked promising, but that's not really serious momentum, is it? I do see some bids. Okay. Reversal, 1, 2, 3. We're going to say 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe. So let's say that we maybe got 4 on this. And then it was judged by still range, trend down. Don't know what's happened, but bids show up. So the thing that I think we need to see here at 05 is more interest than when it was, say, back here. If I can draw here for a second. This area right here. Is what I think we should be comparing against to see if there's still interest in buying it as it's come down. Strange thing happened today. My entry was moved 50 points. Is that because of the platform? Maybe a bug? I don't. That is weird. Because I know on day trader, even if you take a profit, it will like move your all your profit indicators, but it won't move the little red or blue indicator indicating where you got in from, where your initial entry was. I guess I should also point out that on that move up to the high of the day, there was a lot more cumulative delta on it, so you're getting a little divergence. Okay, and you are starting to get... I need to see it continue for a little bit more. If this does an 11 ticker, then you take it. For sure. I should feel really good about that trade in the E-mini, but I'm just disappointed that they didn't break. I'm probably, it'll sit here in range for another 30 minutes, and then when I go, it'll be like, the market will completely crash or something. Okay, so it is doing it. I feel pretty confident in this one. It would be from there. And it's actually good risk. Well, I don't know. It's kind of in the middle of the range. So that's not particularly fishy about it. But I think that based on what we've seen so far, your probability on a higher is good. Post a picture. I'm still flat. I haven't seen anything enticing either way. One ticker's everywhere, but that's not what I want. Well, they're doing 4 tick rotations pretty consistently. So I think that you have a good chance here buy in and moves to the high of the day, and you could get 4. But I also think there's a little bit of steepening in the knob, and so the bond might not be as very impressive, let's say. Another thing is if it drops out, there you could still reverse. Because whenever you get something like that, it's like they'll go a little bit and stop. Well, that time it reversed, but then you notice that was like the peak. Okay. Right there. Like that. Not that it would fill or anything, but. And I'm not supposed to be placing trades, but I'm just saying, right there at 04.5, that's where I would take it. Okay. So he stacked 1,500 on that take. Yeah. So now if they don't push it again, yeah, I had it on a screen record, and even in my phone, the entry was changed. It was a holding position I already reported. That's weird. What platform was that on? E-mini sure is selling here. Interesting, all that selling. They didn't actually make a new low yet. Oh, it was Trade Station. That's interesting. Yeah. So there you go. That's not terribly impressive, but it's looking better. There you go. Okay. Or was that? Was that a 04.5, right? So now can we do it like here? I don't know if I like that. I think they're going to try and probe this again. It's not. That did not happen the way that I thought it would. I'm a little confused. Because I really thought, okay, they push a new low and then we could see all out chaos. Maybe it still happens, but even just them coming back to the opening range low is kind of like, okay. And all that volume that it had going into it and everything. And the interest is kind of increasing again. If it ain't there, it ain't there. It seems like it's not doing it, does it? I'm second guessing myself, but it looks to me like they had another push and they actually made it, and it not resulting in the move that I want. So even if I had taken '07 and caught that, I would have to be thinking about taking it off right now. They take it. It goes back down. You know what you're looking for in the flow. If you don't see it, don't take that trade. I'm not sure if I do completely understand what I'm looking for in the flow when it's the E-mini, but I don't know. Wasn't what I was expecting, though. Bid's going to be tested and then it will reverse. Okay, let's see. I think you have a good thought there. Just the thing that I am seeing here. This is like a super new thing, right? So I'm not saying this is like I know this to be true, but it kind of seems to me that when we pushed down there lower, let's make it big. Okay. It kind of seems to me that they became a little bit more interested when it did that. Which indicates a higher probability of a reversal, I believe. Okay. So over here, the 05 is holding again. Nope. Maybe you just take one or two off of that one. Except for that, I'm still seeing the big numbers. No, I think you take it. Well, there's a little bit more of what we were looking for in the E-mini. Still not. Well, they might just do the slow mover thing, you know? They tested the bids there for sure, though, huh? They tested the bids, and I don't think that the bids handled it very well. I guess part of your problem is you got this 0, 2. That's another key level that people are going to be looking at. Then below that, then they're going to be looking for like the 92 and stuff. Now you're getting the order flow that we wanted though, huh? Was swept more like, yeah. It was never my thinking that made the money for me. It was always my sitting, yeah. Unfortunately, we don't get as much time to sit as Jesse did. I think I did the right thing based on when I took that trade. Here, this other thing where I said I should have taken it at 06 and we talked ourselves out of it. Maybe we did the right thing. It's still kind of like, I don't know. They could still hold this. I mean, look at that amount back. The sellers got trapped there for sure. So that's something that I think that we need to look for in the future. If you've got, a move and it comes up, boom, 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 like that, after having just barely moved down, I think that means that the sellers were trapped. That's why they're going for it. Oh, you did finally get the tick up. I think this thing that I'm seeing here in the Treasury, that looks like a really darn good trade to me. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think you should be able to get 4 out of it. At least that's what the swing is. So I think you'd be looking for 4. Or at the very least, when we tick up at 06, I would be looking to see if something interesting happens here. If I start to see a lot of public interest come in, then I think that maybe they're going to bust the high, but Lucas says new point of control established at 050. Oh no, you're right. That's bullish as well, right? Bart Van Hagen. By the way, welcome, new name. What to buy? I would really like to buy, well, a lot of things. Oh, so did I tell you, I tried to buy a UPS. Look at that. Okay. So it came up there. I'm not actually seeing the signal. So I think we could get a new high, but I want to see the spike. Come on. Cheetos by Cheetos. I don't know. So going back to the sorry, hold on a second, Bart. Going back to our e-mini trade. Here's the things we're saying. If the order flow confirms it, I think part of the reason I'm having the problem here is that I'm not sure if the order flow confirmed it or not. You know what I mean? It just seems like to me that you can get this volume just comes out of nowhere in ES. And so I'm not so sure that a reading like that can really be reliable in ES. I just knew that there was a very high probability of them trying, okay, 07. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 5. That might push up more, but I think that's a spot to say that you gotta get out. The way that the interest is showing up, though, I think that they could continue to buy. Their way the day is going, there may not be much left in the move, but after that point of control moved, the buyers pounced. We got to go back and do a study. Maybe I will have to do it without you guys on the weekend, but I think that we can go and we can make an indicator that just says, if the point of control moves up, buy it. If the point of control moves down, sell it, and see what the stats are on that. Looks like 070 was correct. So did that trade make sense to you guys? See here, it came down, interest. Make it big. Make it big. I like it big. Bada boom. Okay. Here was pre-market action, came down, moved up, pulled back, interest, right? Interest. Also, this stuff right here. Bids. Big bids. Looking to buy it. Okay. Cool. It moves up. Okay, so that was one trade. It moves up. Comes back. Look. Comes back down here. Interest. It actually started to show you, like, it came down. This is where I said, remember I said I would buy it right there. Fake false breakout. I knew it was going to be a false breakout because I saw the interest going into it. And then it came out, and lucky us, they gave us an iceberg at 07 to get out on too. So that's a good trade. I mean, it's 5. You're risking 2. You were risking here to make 5. Yes, that last block orders from nowhere are like stops. I think so. I think that when you get the big block order in ZN, that those are usually stops. Usually. You don't see them very often anymore, do we? Yes, in hindsight, but tough entry at the time. So I don't know if you're talking about the trade from 04 half that we were talking about, but given what I was looking for and everything, I think you could trade that with confidence. Like, remember, I put the order in there and then I said, that's where I would put it, but I'm not taking any trades. So, it was from there. And then I said, you're going to be looking for 4, but let's keep an eye out. Okay, we got an iceberg. Get out. Algo Lover says, yes, that is at 3,006-7 area. No, you're right. Yeah. It's like, I saw it coming back and I said, well, this is where you would shorted it if you think it's going to go lower, but yeah, I don't know. Even this right here is like, okay, they're testing 3,000, but is it really like the end of the world? And it's 825 for me, so I'm going to say if I was swinging, maybe taking it there at that point of control could maybe make sense. But for the kind of trade that we're looking for, I think that your probability and risk reward and everything was not good enough to justify that trade. But we got one. we did okay. So, I made $10. I'm happy about it. I mentioned it first here, but y'all got to remember the point of control is the price where the most volume is traded. Volume in a move as confirmation is like older than dirt in trading. Yeah, meaning that when we came down here, and then that was like the point of control. It came back up. There was actually a really good buy. When it came down here and it formed a new point of control higher, that was another thing, kind of encouraging sign that you could buy it. But I think that I should put one caveat to all of this. And here's the caveat to all of this. How can I got to show you a different chart. Stupid dog. Stupid dog. I knew this girl. She had a dog. And it was always bothering her. She'd say that. Stupid dog. Okay, so here in the opening range, look at that. From the open, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And that's incredibly tight. We had some news. We did have some news, but it didn't appear to move the market much. And this, to me, looks like a market where the big boys maybe took positions, but didn't really have significant reason to be trading it. And so the reason that a trade like that works so well is because we're in range-bound action, and that's basically what they have to do. That's basically like it came down there. The market maker was leaning on the edge. So it moves up. Which means, one, you get a pretty good probability on a reversal there. Two, you should only be expecting like 4 to 6 ticks max. And three, if you did that on a trending day, they might have just totally blown you out. Right? So there's, I even though I think that was a really great high probability trade, there is still an important read that you have to make about what kind of day it is. Okay. So the price at which the most volume has traded moving in one direction is an encouraging sign to trade in that direction, but the caveat is that the point of control can catch up with the market and immediately be rejected in the opposite direction. We're discretionary traders for the most part, so we got to be careful just jumping in on something like the point of control moving. We got to make sure that the market wants it. If sellers don't hold 3,003 for 2025 for confirmation, then I anticipate a squeeze. Well, the only thing that I seem to have a good read on in ES is that cumulative delta, how that tends to move. And I don't know, when you look at it over here, it does kind of look like it's slowing down, doesn't it? And here on this subsequent test, not seeing anything yet. They might push down lower, but if they push down lower and I see the interest increase again, then that might be a reversal. Yeah. Right there. Wow. Man. That was scary. It's like if they go down and the interest increases and then it's going to be a reversal. And did you see those orders come in? As soon as they hit that, all of the bids came into the market and it shot it back up. That might only be good for 8 ticks, but that was a good call. I'm feeling excited because I've been watching this for 3 days. So far, it has been behaving for the most part the way that I anticipated it would. And it's allowing me to see a lot of trades that I was missing before, but were in line with my strategy. So it's like, it's not necessarily changing my strategy. It's just like dramatically increasing my accuracy. And it's helping me to see how much I can actually get. Because that was the other thing, is I was looking at these and like, if we come and look at these, July 17th trades. Okay. 4, 1, 4, 2, 2. So there was one that was 6, but you might not have actually gotten 6 out of it. 4, 5. So like I even knew based off of what the swings were and everything, how much I should have been expecting to get from it. And I knew that it was a range bound day this whole time. So if I think that if we were to go back and we were to trade the indicator the way, or to trade the strategy the way that I believe is correct, we would have done really well. It wouldn't have just been like I could have made 4 ticks and gone. I could have made like, 8 to 16 ticks on a really range bound day, which would have been amazing. It's not super easy though, because there was some of this stuff like this garbage right here. This was kind of where it kind of get fishy. But now that we've seen that, we just kind of know, hey, look at this. They came down here. All of a sudden, interest. And to me, my take on this, my theory on this right now means that we have reached a price that the interest that buyers and sellers have has changed. For some reason, when you're looking at all orders, I don't see a difference between the buy and sell. So perhaps these 2 columns right here are unnecessary, right? But it just means to me, okay, we've gotten to a place where now there's market interest. That means that it is likely to move away from here. And in a range-bound day, the most likely chance is that it's going to go up. Because that's where everybody's leaning. And same here on this upside, right? So it came up. There was trend on it. There was interest on it the whole way. Okay. Then they all kind of, that was the end of the move. There was some icebergs up there and stuff, right? So then when it starts probing lower, not really, like through here, right? This whole area, right? Yeah, not as interesting. And then, but here, false breakout. Interest again. It's going to go up. And then once it did go up, you got an iceberg and you had interest again and again. And so what do you get? You get these ranges here. Because now they're all interested in taking it. Some people are taking it short. Some people are actually, looks like they're buying it here. That might mean, well, that I think because of this one becomes really uncertain. But this is another potential signal, right? Isn't that just a NinjaTrader 8 version of the Vista chart? No. It's different. So like, and this is what I like about it so much. So let's look at the Vista chart. I can't make the Vista chart big, but we can look at it side by side, right? Okay. So you can see here is where they, right here is where they did the false breakout, right? Right there. Okay. So what can you see? Well, I can see that the balance between buyers and sellers in the book was doing something kind of weird right here. And I can see that buyers were absorbing here. So that's really good. But that's very different. Because the thing is what's happening is what causes that spike is lots of people are putting orders on. So they are either moving their orders or they're putting new ones on. I think the fact that you have almost equal -6 and 64. I could be wrong, but you're seeing there's almost the same amount of stacking and pulling, which means that orders are moving and not necessarily being placed. Anyways, so when I look at the Vista chart over here, do you see anything over here? Like on the actual, do you see white showing up or anything like that? You can't see it. But people were clearly putting orders in. And I think that the reason that you can't see it is because a lot of that might be being placed on the inside. It's like they're moving their orders and they're putting them in the inside to get filled. Or somebody is spoofing. That could just be spoofing because, like good grief, 30,000. I don't think that much traded down there that time. But we'll see. Well, we're supposed to give it 2 weeks. So there's probably still a lot that we can learn. But right now I'm feeling really excited because it's showing me the range bound trades, basically. It's showing me the range bound trades. Now I have to be careful if it's like a trending day. I think that if it's a trending day that this is going to give you a ton of bullshit. Or you're going to see a spike like that and you're going to think, oh, it's going to turn here. And then they'll just push and push and push and push and push. Anyways, and I don't want to give, here's the other thing I'll tell you about this, right? I think it's obvious now that this is based off of resting orders, right? But there is a little bit of algorithmic messing around about, you have to keep track of the book to see how much is moving and stuff like that. So there is a little bit of work involved in it. That's why I'm not just posting it out there. Because I think it's so good. Maybe I should just keep it to myself, or I don't know. Sell it, or we'll see. Maybe someday you guys can convince me. But first we got to do this 2-week thing. I'm just yapping now. What's going on in Bitcoin? They just barely tested 9,000 and bounced off of it. But the futures took another little dive there. That was a good. The result was a reversal. Oh, we gotta run it. Let's generate charts. I was having some trouble with some of my charts, and I looked at it and I fixed it, and there's some good news because the data changed and the data got a lot better. So I might be able to add new coins. I might be able to find some ways to make the altcoins charts a little more accurate or make more sense. I tell you what. Oh, and we did get. Did I tell you guys about the Reddit thing? Oh my gosh, this one's funny. So my Reddit username is Seth Ellis, right? And I was in the Buttcoin subreddit, right? So there is a subreddit for people that don't like Bitcoin. And they were pointing out something in Bitcoin. I forget exactly what the specifics were. But it was something negative about Bitcoin price action right now. And oh no, I remember what it was. It was Charlie Lee, or you know the Bitcoin guy that's always on CNBC that has no effing clue what he's talking about. He just always says buy. It's funny because they offer consulting services for Bitcoin buying and selling, and their basic thing is that there is no edge. So it's like pointless to buy their service. Anyways, so I complained and they're like, why is he still on television? There are so many better people out there that you could watch that actually have like a real edge. And these guys, they seem to think that that there's like no edge in trading ever anywhere. That's what they seem to believe. Oh, look at that. They are bouncing there. Oh. But that one didn't necessarily give a clear signal, did it? That one you would have to just base it off of the turn, probably. And the fact that it's kind of less on this particular move kind of suggests to me that there might not be a whole lot of momentum on it. Anyways, I always get distracted when I'm in those stories, and then I'll be like, oh, look at the action. Oh, okay, back to the story. Okay, so back to the story. Anyways, they think that like there's no edge in it at all. So a couple of people, gave some sarcastic replies to me and everything. And I said, well, I have a pretty good edge. You can look at it historically, and you can see that it works really, really well. And we've been forward testing, and I've made money off of it. And so somebody, and I don't know if they did this as kind of like, I don't know what the deal was, but one of the Buttcoin users went and made a post in the Bitcoin subreddit on their daily thread about it. And so there was this huge thread about it. Well, not a huge thread, but there was a couple of replies, and I went and replied to people, but it was kind of weird to be mentioned like that. And I did get a few subscribers from it. So that's cool. I'm happy about that. But I don't know. I don't know if they were doing that to like mess with Bitcoin or if they really was like, oh wait, maybe this guy has something, or I don't know what the deal was, but it was kind of weird. And I don't know. But then the other funny thing is that one of the guys came in and they said, okay, so explain to us when in April it really looked to you like that they wouldn't be able to move up much more, and we're able to push up to 10K. And what do you think about that? And I said, well, it wasn't exactly a failure in the indicator. It was kind of more my take on it that we shouldn't be, this might be a price that holds. Well, the indicator has gotten over 200 in the past. But the only time that it gets to that level is if there's fraud in the market. And the person was like, so like, what do you mean by fraud? Now, of course, I'm talking about Bitfinex and Tether, right? Like the New York Attorney General is accusing Bitfinex of loaning Tether out to people without the backing dollar reserves, and they're loaning it out to U.S. customers that are not allowed to have that, and then they're using that to go and boost up the price. So basically, they're buying Bitcoins out there with dollars that don't exist. It's fraud. That's what the New York Attorney General is accusing them of, and my indicator supports that reading. If that turns out to be proven in court, then everything that my indicator is doing right now makes 100% right, or makes 100% sense. And the indicator was just perfect all along. It's just there was fraud. So it really kept you out of a fraudulent market. It's cool, right? It's really great. But it's the Bitcoin subreddit. So I'm like, well, what they asked me, so what kind of fraud? And I was like, well, last time there was fraud like this, it was Mt. Gox, and they were basically buying stuff on the exchange, even though the exchange didn't actually have any money to be buying it with. They just basically just put it in the system as that there was a buy. And then, look at MES, I'm missing it. It's going down. It's too late for me to touch it, right? I don't take a trade after 8:30. I've learned my lesson on that one too many times. Anytime that I start trading after 8:30, I start messing up. So that's why I was saying that, like, if it was a swing trade, I think that taking the sell there was I think I would have taken the sell at 3,007. But if I was taking a swing trade, I would have had more like 16 ticks of risk to be able to take. And now here it's kind of like, but 95 is good. And I'm kind of thinking, maybe tomorrow I can sell it again. So, but I don't want to take a trade after 8:30. That always ends badly. And then I'm sitting here trying to get out of something before work and stuff. It's okay, guys. So, hold on. Let me write this really quick and then I'll explain something else here. $96.75, good shot. You think so? Right there at the low, huh? I don't know. I can't do it because there's stuff I would need to pull back, right? I don't know, guys. Okay, so oops, I don't want that one. Sorry, hold on. I just screwed up. Edit. Okay. Okay, so going back, here's the thing. Is like, it's kind of like, there's an opportunity and we missed it, right? Well, it happened after 9:30, okay? It happened after 9:30, so we're not going to take it. It's kind of like that thing, like, you want to take it because there's an opportunity. You don't want to miss the opportunity, but you know what? There will be other opportunities. So today in the E-mini, it didn't work out quite the way that we wanted it to. I'm not very familiar with that instrument. I think just the fact that I was able to make a little bit on it, and I did have a good feel for where it was going to go. I just, had a tough time figuring out what the entries were and all those sorts of things. I think that it was still progress. So we shouldn't be getting all FOMO about it and like trying to, be late for work to try and sell the E-mini. It's a tough entry. It's a little bad entry because there was one leg down already. Interesting how that first IB low test when you exited had a ton of volume on it, and the second one significantly less. Break out of the initial balance and the rocket took off. So, Uzi, you're saying that's interesting because normally that would have meant that they would have stayed within the range, but clearly somebody wanted to sell it and pushed it back down, right? I think so. But that kind of brings out something else that I think is interesting about the E-mini. Bring up the screenshot. Are you talking about this? We do need to take the screenshot, so thank you for reminding me. Let's take this and go and paste it in here. This move here in Treasuries, though, that one is this one is also interesting to me because, well, you had some, and that is weird. Do you see right here, these pulls? Do you see those pulls right there? As it was taking off? So that is another thing that I think we need to watch in the future. Let's put that in the note. Okay. Lots of activity just before the ES Open. More or less activity on, pullback tests. And then pulling when it moves. The E-mini is more fun than the old ugly Treasuries. I mean, I agree with you, but I've had such a hard time trading it. I don't know. This is where I could be doing really good, so it sucks that it's doing it this way, but... Oh, Doozy tried to send me a link and it didn't go through in chat, yeah. It's a lot better to put those in Discord, but, whatever. Anyways, so I think that what that means is that there was some big guys that wanted to be filled here, and when it went off, they just canceled their orders. I think that's what that means. Pick your poison. Yeah, it's fun when you're on the right side of it. It's not fun when you're on the wrong side of it. Live action, a good point. I've had some rough times with the E-mini, all right? Last week I was only hitting like 30%. So, I don't understand this instrument yet. There's some really tough stuff. Oh, you put it in the July notes as a comment. Oh, okay. Thank you. I like it. Oh, yes. So Uzi is pointing out that, there was a lot of people. Oh, so I think what you're saying is when that happened, so this right here, remember, that was the one that I was laughing about. I was like, they might come in down here and, stop people out, and then you'd immediately see the buyers come in. And when you saw that, you almost immediately saw large bids come in and the market moved up. So that happened. And I said, well, that might just be a short-term trade. And then what happened? They pushed down and those guys got stopped out. And then it was chaos. No, I think I exited. Oh, maybe you're right. That is where I exited. Maybe you're right. Where's the move that I was thinking of then? It was around 3,000, I think. Maybe it was just this little pull back here, maybe? I don't know. No, it was this one right here. It was. It was this little, all of these little circles right here. And it reversed. That's what it was. and then we turned around and then it kept pushing. So this looks to me like longs getting stopped out. Yeah. Longs getting stopped out and meeting responsive sellers, essentially. Or, responsive buyers, rather. But there's still this next price point, 92, and they could blow through that too. Ooh. Right, that first arrow you got out on the way up because it didn't break the IP low. Yeah, correct. But we're saying that was the right call, right? I don't know. I think for the time frame that we have to trade the E-mini, I think that was the right call. I do think so. But we're still working something out in the E-mini, right? I don't think I have a super solid, well explained. Yeah, he agrees. But the thing, and I think the reason why I've been having a hard time in the E-mini is because I want to swing it. I really do. I could have swung that one. It would have worked out. So, I don't know. And if I was swinging it, I think that I would still try and take it off at the support. So I would be, I think here, it not quite touching 92. Maybe you would take it off already. I don't know. So I'm just saying it's interesting how on that second test, there were no trade bubbles. Oh, you're right. Less volume, so it busted free. Oh yeah, so that was one of the things I was going to say is when I've been doing my back testing in the E-mini, we got to go here after this. When I've been doing my back testing, it's really hard because over the past 6 months, it's like even if your strategy just bought, that there was like a 1.2 profit factor edge on just buying. And the behavior of the E-mini seems to me that it behaves extremely different when it's buying versus when it's selling. And when it sells, it really, to me, when it sells, it looks so forced to me. It's like they shove it down using the limit orders and push it and cause everybody to panic. When we were seeing that stuff in December, you would see the sweeps come through. And remember when we were saying, oh man, that must be George Soros coming in and shorting the markets because he hates Donald Trump or whatever, But I've since decided that is just the way that the E-mini sells. And that's probably a good example of it. It looks like there's less volume there, so it should hold. But it's actually the opposite sort of a thing. If it came down and there was more interest there, then maybe it would break. But since there's not interest there, it just means that whoever is taking it short here has reason to kind of push it further. What do you think is good to scale in on a move like this? Often doing it on a situation like this. This is not something that I have experience in. But I do think that it's a good idea to try if you can figure out the math and stuff. I mean, like the thing is, if you have a trend day and you just catch the pullbacks, I would look, Adrian, we're talking about this video from Chat with Traders with BLB Capital. This guy who he learned order flow from an institutional trader. He got to sit and watch this guy for a month or whatever. And he trades order flow, and he trades two accounts and washes them against each other. So he'll have, in one account, he will take a directional position. So he will say, okay, I want to be short the E-mini. And then he buys the pullbacks on the other account. So when it pulls back, he's buying it. And then he gets more on the down, and then he buys it and he gets more on the down. And so he is trying to play every swing. So I suspect that you could do a similar thing with, multiple contracts on one account. You could just say, I'm going to sell 2 here. Well, let's say that you sell 4, okay? You sell 4 here, you take your profit on one so that you have space, and then you get down here, you get 2 or 3 that you take off, and then it comes back up, and then when you see where the pullback is ended, you can sell it again. Or you can just, maybe you take 1, it pulls back, you sell it, pulls back, you sell it. But that sort of a thing would only work on a really strong trend. So I'm sure that there's a way to do it. I know I've heard people discuss that sort of a thing, but like, I don't know what the math is, like there would be math about it, about, okay, you have this many contracts and you take this much profit on this one and this much on this one. And this is when you take it off, and here's the probability of that next contract working or not. And you need to hold a certain percentage win rate in order for that to work out. Because if you don't, then what ends up happening is you take it short, it comes down, you take it short again, it reverses on you. Now it's back to your break-even point or your initial entry, but you are actually now negative. And if it goes up to what your stop would have been from originally, then you've lost twice as much. And so it's not bad, right? The dangerous thing with the scale off trade is the stop outs will force you to have a high success rate. Yes. I think that the reason that big traders do it is because they want as much volume, they want to be able to swing as much as they can. And it's like, okay, if I'm trading 1,000 contracts and it trades up, that gives me enough margin to add more contracts on. And so that's more that I can use to push it up again and again and again. And that's why they do that. And I think that for them, it's different because their volume pushing it gives them the right? For us, scaling in and out, I'm sure it can be done, but I'm just not sure. The multiple contracts thing is something that I think we still need to do a lot of research on. So that's that. Anyways, I guess that's all we have. It's doing an 11 tick zipper. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I don't like doing these zippers at the high or low, but there's a pretty good chance that the treasuries sell here. So there's that. I should go. So I will see you guys tomorrow. It's exciting. Of course, I'm not taking actual trades with it, but watching it, it's exciting. So I'm hopeful for the end of these 2 weeks. I think that we could really improve our trading with this. So, bada boom. And yeah, if the market is going into sell territory in the E-mini, we could have a good couple of weeks here trading in the E-mini. So, there's always more opportunity tomorrow. Don't try and FOMO me into it. You know that's my problem, right? You know that's my problem. Don't try and FOMO me into it. There will be more opportunity other days, all right? We did good. I'll catch you guys tomorrow. In the meantime, stay profitable.